A mother was cleaning her 10-year-old son's bedroom one day when she found an adult bondage magazine under his mattress. She was mortified. She put the dirty magazine back under the mattress, thinking that she would show her husband when he got home from work. A few hours later, when her husband got home, she led him to their son's bedroom, pulled out the magazine, and showed it to him. He opened the magazine, slowly flicked through the pages, his eyes wide. Then, he just handed the magazine back to her without a word. So she asked him,
"What do you think we should do?"
The dad paused, cleared his throat, and said, "I'm no expert, but I don't think you should spank him." Frank is hard of hearing and recently bought a new hearing aid. He is so happy with his new hearing aid that when he sees his friend Joe, he has to tell him about it. Frank says,
"Hey Joe, remember that old hearing aid I used to have? The one with the receiver in the shirt pocket? Remember how I was always messing with it, trying to turn up the volume? Boy, I've got a new hearing aid that's opened up a whole new world for me. I'm hearing things I've never heard before. Everything is coming in loud and clear. I got it for only $1,000 wholesale. If the company that made this hearing aid wanted me to do a commercial for it, I'd do it, and they wouldn't even have to pay me. I can hear a pin drop on a carpet in the next room."
Joe responds,
"Well, Frank, that sounds great. What kind is it?"
Frank looks at his watch and says,
"About 4:15.
A wealthy couple had planned to go out for the evening. The woman of the house decided to give their butler, James, the rest of the night off. She told James they would be home very late and that he should just enjoy his evening. As it turned out, however, the wife wasn't having a good time at the party, so she came home early alone. Her husband had to remain there as several of his important clients were in attendance. As the woman walked into her house, she saw James sitting by himself in the dining room. She called for him to follow her, then led him into the master bedroom. She looked at him and smiled.
"James,"
she said,
"take off my dress."
James carefully removed her dress.
"James,"
she continued,
"now take off my stockings and garter."
He silently obeyed her commands.
"James,"
she then said,
"remove my bra and panties."
As he did this, the tension continued to mount. Finally, she said,
"James, don't ever let me catch you wearing my clothes again."
A ball of string rolls into a bar and sits down. He asks for a drink, but the bartender tells him apologetically,
"Sorry, we don't serve strings here."
Confused, the string leaves and goes home. A few days later, the string returns to the bar, this time sitting at a different end of the bar. He asks for another drink, and the bartender responds,
"Hey, aren't you that string from the other day? I told you, we don't serve strings here."
Dejected, the string leaves and returns home once again. A few weeks go by, and the string decides to try his luck one more time. He ties himself up and pulls apart the top of his string to change his appearance. He enters the bar, sits down, and orders a drink. The bartender looks long and hard, then says,
"Hey, you look familiar. You've definitely been around here. Aren't you that string from a while back?"
The string looks him straight in the eye and says coolly,
"Nope. I'm afraid not."
A man walks into a bar and notices a very large jar on the counter, filled to the brim with $10 bills. He guesses there must be at least $10,000 in it. He approaches the bartender and asks, "What's with the money in the jar?"
"Well, you pay $10, and if you pass 3 tests, you get all the money in the jar."
The man certainly isn't going to pass this up, so he asks, "What are the 3 tests?"
You've got to pay first,
says the bartender.
those are the rules.
So, after thinking it over a while, the man gives the bartender $10, which he stuffs into the jar.
Okay,
Says the bartender.
here's what you need to do. First, you have to drink a whole quart of tequila in 60 seconds or less, and you can't make a face while doing it. Second, there's a pit bull chained in the back with a bad tooth. You have to remove that tooth with your bare hands. Third, there's a 90-year-old lady upstairs who's never slept with a man. You have to take care of that problem.
The man is stunned. I know I already paid my $10, but I'm not an idiot. I won't do it. You'd have to be nuts to drink a quart of tequila and then do all those other things.
Your call,
Says the bartender.
but your money stays where it is.
As time goes on, the man has a few more drinks and finally says, "Where's the damn tequila?" He grabs the bottle with both hands and drinks it as fast as he can. Tears streaming down both cheeks, but he does not make a face. And he drinks it in 58 seconds. Next, he staggers out the back door where he sees the pit bull chained to a pole. Soon, the people inside the bar hear loud growling, screaming, and sounds of a terrible fight. Then, nothing but silence. Just when they think that the man surely must be dead, he staggers back into the bar. His clothes are ripped to shreds and he's bleeding from bites and gashes all over his body. He drunkenly says, "Now, where's that old woman with the bad tooth?" An 85-year-old couple, having been married almost 60 years, dies in a car crash. They had been in good health for the last 10 years, mainly due to her interest in health, food, and exercise. When they reach the pearly gates, St. Peter takes them to their mansion. It is decked out with a beautiful kitchen, master bath suite, and jacuzzi. As they ooh and ah, the old man asks St. Peter how much all this was going to cost.
It's free,
St. Peter replies.
This is heaven.
Next, they go out back to survey the championship golf course that the home backs up to. They will have golfing privileges every day, and each week the course changes to a new one representing the great golf courses found on Earth. The old man asks,
What are the green fees?
St. Peter replies,
This is heaven. You can play for free.
Next, they go to the clubhouse and see a lavish buffet lunch with all the cuisines of the world laid out.
How much is it to eat here?
Asks the old man.
Don't you understand yet? This is heaven. Everything is free.
St. Peter replies with some exasperation.
Well, where are the low-fat and low-cholesterol tables?
The old man asks timidly. St. Peter answers,
That's the best part. You can eat as much as you like, whatever you like. You will never get fat, and you will never get sick. This is heaven.
With that, the old man erupts into a fit of anger, throwing down his hat and stomping on it, shrieking wildly. St. Peter and his wife both try to calm him down, asking him what was wrong. The old man looks at his wife and says,
This is all your fault! If it weren't for your blasted bran muffins, I could have been here 10 years ago!
There were 3 women, a brunette, a redhead, and a blonde. They all worked together at an office. Every day they noticed that their boss left work a little early. So, one day, they met together and decided that today, when the boss left, they would all leave early too. The boss left, and so did they. The brunette went home and straight to bed so she could get an early start the next morning. The redhead went home to get in a quick workout before her dinner date. The blonde went home and walked into the bedroom. She opened the door slowly and saw her husband in bed with her boss, so she shut the door and left. The next day, the brunette and the redhead are talking about going home early again. They ask the blonde if she wants to leave early again.
No,
She says,
Yesterday, I nearly got caught.
It is October, and the Indians on a remote reservation ask their new chief if the coming winter is going to be cold or mild. Since he is a chief in a modern society, he has never been taught the old secrets from the past. When he looks at the sky, he can't tell what the winter's going to be like. Nevertheless, to be on the safe side, he tells his tribe that indeed this winter is going to be cold, and that all members of the village should collect as much firewood as they can. But, being a practical leader, after several days he gets an idea. He calls the National Weather Service and asks,
Is the coming winter going to be cold?
It looks like this winter is going to be quite cold.
The meteorologist at the Weather Service responds. So the chief goes back to his people and tells them to collect even more firewood. A week later, the chief calls the National Weather Service again.
Does it still look like it's going to be very cold winter?
Yes,
The meteorologist replies.
it's going to be a very cold winter.
The chief again goes back to his people and orders them to collect every scrap of firewood that they can find. 2 weeks later, the chief calls the National Weather Service again.
Are you absolutely sure that the winter is going to be very cold?
Absolutely.
The man replies.
It's looking more and more like it's going to be one of the coldest winters ever.
How can you be so sure?
Asks the chief. The meteorologist replies.
The Indians are collecting firewood like crazy.
Little Johnny gets on a bus, sits next to a man reading a book, and notices he has his collar on backwards. Johnny asks,
Hey, mister, why do you wear your collar that way?
The man, who is a priest, replies.
Because I am a father.
Little Johnny says,
My daddy doesn't wear his collar like that.
The priest looks up from his book and responds.
I am the father of many.
Johnny says,
My dad has 4 boys, 4 girls, and 2 grandchildren, and he doesn't wear his collar that way.
The priest, getting impatient, replies,
I am the father of hundreds.
Then goes back to reading his book. Little Johnny sits quietly for the remainder of the trip. Upon leaving the bus, he leans over to the priest and says,
Well, maybe you should wear your pants backwards instead of your collar.
A local business is looking for office help. They put a sign in the window saying, Help Wanted. Must be able to type, must be good with a computer, and must be bilingual. We are an equal opportunity employer. A short time afterward, a dog trots up to the window, sees the sign, and goes inside. He looks at the receptionist and wags his tail, then walks over to the sign, looks at it, and whines. Getting the idea, the receptionist gets the office manager. The office manager looks at the dog and he's surprised to say the least. However, the dog looks determined, so he leads him into the office. Inside, the dog jumps up on the chair and stares at the manager. The manager says,
I can't hire you. The sign says you have to be able to type.
The dog jumps down, goes to the typewriter, and proceeds to type out a perfect letter. He takes out the page, trots over to the manager and gives it to him, then jumps back on the chair. The manager is stunned, but then he tells the dog,
The sign says you have to be good with a computer.
The dog jumps down again and goes to the computer. The dog proceeds to demonstrate his expertise with various programs. He produces a sample spreadsheet and database and then presents them to the manager. By this time, the manager is totally dumbfounded. He looks at the dog and says,
I realize that you're a very intelligent dog and have some interesting abilities. However, I still can't give you the job.
The dog jumps down and goes over to the Help Wanted sign, then puts his paw on the part about being an equal opportunity employer. The manager says,
Yeah, but the sign also says that you have to be bilingual.
The dog looks at him straight in the face and says, Meow, meow.